You cannot deny that there are some similarities in those songs. How did Pharrell and Robin Thicke try to defend them?
Oh, there are extreme similarities, and in fact, in interviews with both of them, I believe they had acknowledged the debt to that song. However, there's usually understood to be a difference between inspiration and infringement, and basically what they tried to argue is that their use of the vibe and the essential groove of that song fell under inspiration, rather than anything legally actionable as infringement.
Yes, so I guess the question is, how do you make that line clearer when it comes to inspiration and infringement?
Well, right, that's what's interesting about this case, and that'll be interesting to watch going forward, because I think a lot of people are now kind of nervously looking at their back catalog, trying to figure out what might fall onto the sort of blurred lines there, as it were. But, I mean, you look at sort of the famous copyright infringement lawsuits. For example, George Harrison wrote a song in the mid-'70s called My Sweet Lord and was sued by the Chiffons over its similarity to He's So Fine. And if you look at the songs, the basic melodies are extremely similar and actually kind of idiosyncratic in the same way. Whereas you look at this song, you compare the sheet music, you compare the key, you compare the chord changes. They're totally different songs that share the same underlying melody. And previously, it was not thought that you could copyright a groove or a vibe, and that kind of seems to be what's happened with this case.
So, Andrew, what's a potential impact on other musicians? Are we going to see more litigations going forward?
Well, I think people are definitely going to be watching the space to see if there are. I mean, on the one, I don't have a particular legal background. However, one jury trial does not change the essential tenets of copyright law. But nonetheless, I think a number of people are worried this could have a bit of a chilling effect as far as artists talking about their inspirations openly. And I think a number of artists will certainly double-check what they've recorded to see if they weren't even unconsciously infringing on something that could be actionable down the road.
But I guess the litigations will depend on how popular you are right out there, because it seems that will only affect those people with songs at the top levels of those charts. Not really musicians just out there trying to make a living.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no question that Blurred Lines was one of, if not the biggest song of 2013. So clearly it painted the target on itself for something like this. But all the same, normally when you see these cases, I mean, it often is acts that are particularly big. For example, Led Zeppelin with Muddy Waters and a number of others who have targeted them. So it'll be interesting to see if this kind of helps clear up some of the gray areas in copyright law.